Welcome back. 8:38 right now. You know, we've got a woman running for president. Almost half the Supreme Court is made up of women, dozens of women representing us in Congress, and now March is National Women's History Month.
And many women say it's been a long time coming. How did it happen? And what can you do to make sure this month matters? Well, here with what we need to know to make it matter is Shari. Nice to see you.
Always good to see you.
Thanks.
For starters, how did this get to be Women's History Month?
Sure. So March 8th, 1857, some women in New York City actually protested because of bad working conditions in factories. About 50 years later, International Women's Day, which was earlier this week, was created. And then in the 1980s, Congress created Women's History Month, which is a national holiday, and essentially it's about raising awareness and education. So we see, for example, government agencies releasing statistics and information this month about women's roles in the economy and in the workplace and things like that.
Well, you know, so many of us were trailblazers in what we did. But some of the younger women, they aren't even aware because it's a different time, and that's understandable and it's very acceptable. But how can we get information out there so people know what's available to celebrate this month?
Well, so for example, the Census Bureau recently published some information, and we know that more than half of college students now are women. We also know, for example, that more women in the workplace have bachelor's degrees than men, but what's interesting, Roxanne, is that the median income for women, even though we have more bachelor's degrees, is actually under $40,000 a year, while the median income for men is over $50,000 a year. So there are many reasons for that. One of the reasons, though, is we know that women have made headway in careers like pharmacy and accounting, but in other careers like law enforcement, the practice of law, the practice of medicine, we actually still have a really long way to go.
All right, hopefully we're getting there. I mean, big strides. So what can folks do to celebrate this month and sort of help to level the playing field?
Sure. Well, it's all about awareness. And one of the things I think is really important is self-awareness. So, for example, I'll bet you didn't know that more women than men report that they would not want to have a woman supervisor at work. In fact, 80% of women who do say that they felt bullied by their female supervisor before. So becoming aware of our own biases, for example, maybe women are tougher on other women, either as subordinates or as supervisors, but also being aware of other factors. For example, women have more level types of friendships, different types of friendships, and maybe we have a harder time in the workplace dealing with the hierarchical relationship structure. Maybe because there are less women in management and senior positions, we tend to view other women more as our competition. Maybe because we're responsible for household responsibilities and family, we do less mentoring in the workplace. Those are the types of biases and attitudes that if we can become aware of them, we can actually make changes in our own workplaces and eventually in our own wallets.
And we'll let it go at that.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface here.
So much to talk about, but celebrate National Women's History Month. Thanks, Shari.
Sure. Thank you, Shari.
Let's go think.